Have you ever stopped to think maybe if the historical romances you pick up are, more than just a bit of light fun?
Hmm. Yeah. Like, what if under all the fancy balls and witty chat, there's actually something pretty deep going on?
Exactly. Maybe a real look at society or even, personal trauma.
It's a really interesting angle, isn't it? How stories we might just brush off as escapism can actually, well, carry some serious weight.
Totally. And that's what we're getting into today. We're diving deep into The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. It's the first book in her huge Bridgerton series set way back in 1813 London.
Right.
And our goal here really is to unpack how this book, which seems pretty light on the surface, uses some clever writing techniques to be not just fun, but actually quite insightful, exploring these big themes like love, who you are, and all that societal pressure.
Timeless stuff, really.
Okay, and just so you know, you are experiencing a unique two-voice AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM for deeper, more dynamic book analysis.
And speaking of analysis, if you're interested in more AI-driven book discussions like this one, aimed at, sparking some thought, check out Mindful Moments over on our YouTube channel.
Great point. Okay, so let's set the scene a bit for The Duke and I. What's the basic story?
Well, at its heart, you've got Daphne Bridgerton. She's out in society, trying to find a decent husband, but maybe not having the best luck.
Right, kind of overlooked.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Simon Basset, the brand new Duke of Hastings. He's handsome, rich, titled, but wants absolutely nothing to do with marriage.
Ah, the reluctant Duke. Classic.
Totally classic. So they cook up this plan, a fake courtship.
Okay, why? What's the logic there?
Well, it works for both of them,
Yeah.
supposedly. Simon gets all the ambitious mamas off his back because he looks taken.
Makes sense.
And Daphne,
Wow.
suddenly she looks way more desirable because, hey, a duke is interested in her. It boosts your stock,
Clever. But, let me guess. It doesn't stay fake for long.
Yeah. Exactly. Predictable, maybe, but Quinn handles it really well. It morphs into this very real, quite transformative love affair. It takes that common trope and gives it, well, some real heart.
And we should talk about Julia Quinn herself for a second. Her credibility, her ethos.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not just any romance writer. She's Harvard educated. She's won awards. She's known for being witty.
Yeah, her dialogue is sharp.
Definitely. And she's often credited with sort of modernizing historical romance, giving it a fresh feel.
So her reputation kind of sets the stage. We expect something smart, character-focused.
Precisely. It gives her room to play with the genre, maybe bend the rules a little, while still delivering that romance payoff readers want.
Okay, and who's reading this? Who's the audience?
Well, it's pretty wide, isn't it? You've got your core historical romance fans. They love the Regency setting, the aristocracy, the big family.
The Bridgertons are a big family.
Oh, yeah. But then, especially now with the TV show, you have this huge secondary audience, people who might not normally pick a romance novel.
Drawn in by the adaptation, or maybe just looking for stories about, like, personal growth and dealing with society.
Exactly that. So the book aims to entertain, for sure, and it absolutely does. But it's also digging into these deeper themes, love, identity, trauma.
And it offers that escape, that glittering world, but it's also maybe poking fun at it a little, critiquing the marriage market and things.
Subtly, yes. It critiques the norms around marriage, gender, status back then.
Yeah.
It's doing both things at once.
So the big themes we're juggling here are things like the fake relationship, dealing with past trauma, Simon's trauma specifically.
And healing from it.
Right. And family ties, the Bridgertons are huge.
Yeah.
Societal pressure, definitely. And finding your own way, being authentic.
Yeah, personal authenticity is key for both Daphne and Simon.
And the tone manages to be like light and funny a lot of the time.
Oh, very witty, often quite tongue-in-cheek. But then it can hit you with real emotional weight.
Especially with Simon's backstory, right? His childhood was rough.
Incredibly rough. And those moments of vulnerability between him and Daphne, they feel very genuine. Quinn balances the humor and the emotion really skillfully.
Okay, let's shift into the analysis. How does Quinn actually do all this? Let's talk about her craft.
Well, one really clever thing is how she blends time periods, almost. The book came out in 2000, but it's set back in 1813.
Right, the Regency era.
And she brilliantly fuses the historical facts, like the rigid marriage market, the rules, with a sensibility that feels quite modern.
How so?
The characters' inner lives, their ways of thinking, sometimes their dialogue. It feels relatable to us now. It makes the whole thing accessible. It doesn't feel like a stuffy historical document.
So she's bridging that gap between then and now. It's like she sensed readers wanted something more, maybe.
Exactly. It feels like a response to a need, an exigence, if you want the rhetorical term. Readers wanted Regency romance, yes, but with characters who felt, emotionally real, complex.
Not just archetypes.
Not just archetypes. They wanted the escapism and the authentic struggles. Quinn really delivers that.
And technically, how does she pull readers in? You mentioned a couple of key strategies.
Two big ones stand out. First, Lady Whistledown.
Ah, yes, the mysterious gossip columnist.
Exactly. Her little society papers start each chapter. They're witty, they're sharp, they comment on everything.
And they sort of foreshadow things too, don't they?
Mm-hmm. It acts like this amazing framing device. It immerses you in the pun, in their world, but it also gives you this critical distance, like an inside joke about how absurd it all is sometimes.
It's like a running commentary from someone who sees it all.
A meta-narrative, yeah.
Yeah.
Really clever. The second big thing is the alternating perspectives.
So we get chapters from Daphne's point of view and chapters from Simon.
Exactly. And that is so effective. You get deep inside both their heads. You understand their fears, their motivations, their misunderstandings.
Which builds a ton of empathy, right? You're not just watching them, you're kind of living it with both of them.
Absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
That dual insight is key to how she makes you feel things, the pathos.
Okay, let's talk about the emotional appeals, the pathos. How does she make us care so much?
Well, she really works to build empathy for both leads.
Yeah.
For Simon, it's pretty direct. His awful childhood, the abuse from his father, his struggle with a stutter. It's heartbreaking stuff.
Yeah, you really feel for him and understand why he's so closed off.
Definitely. But she also builds empathy for Daphne. She's not just another debutante. She feels overlooked. She wants something real, not just a title or money.
You get that from her internal thoughts.
Yes, those internal monologues are gold. They show their vulnerabilities, their insecurities, and the banter between them.
Which is often funny, even a bit anachronistic sometimes.
Right. But it does more than just make you laugh. It shows their connection, their chemistry. It deepens the emotional engagement because you see them connecting.
And then there are those big emotional moments, like Simon facing his past.
Those climaxes hit hard because you're so invested, thanks to that groundwork Quinn lays with the pathos. It's a mix of humor and real emotional depth.
Okay, what about the logical side, the logos? Does that play a role?
It really does, starting with the premise itself. The fake courtship isn't just random. It's presented as a very logical, practical solution for both of them.
Right, we covered that. He avoids matchmaking, she looks more popular. Mutually beneficial.
Exactly. There's a clear cause and effect logic to it. And the way the plot resolves, the way they grow, it feels earned.
How so?
Because they're healing, they're finding happiness together. It comes from them actually confronting their issues, eventually communicating honestly.
Yeah, after some drama.
Of course.
Yeah.
But the resolution feels logically driven by their actions and choices, not just waved away by a magic wand. It makes sense within the story's world.
Quinn seems to really enjoy playing with the rules, too. You mentioned subversion, irony.
Oh, definitely. She uses humor and irony constantly to poke fun at Regency society's absurdities, the pressure, the gossip, the ridiculous rules.
While still showing the real feelings underneath it all.
Exactly. She winks at the reader, acknowledging the conventions of romance and historical fiction, and then sometimes turns them on their head a bit. It's playful.
And you mentioned anachronism before, the modern-sounding dialogue or attitudes. That's deliberate, you think?
I think it has to be. It's a specific stylistic choice. It makes the characters feel more relatable, more immediate to a modern reader.
Even if it's not strictly 1813 accurate.
Right. It sacrifices maybe a tiny bit of historical purity for greater accessibility and connection. It helps bridge that centuries-long gap. It lets us in.
Okay, now, we do need to address something more serious. There's a particular scene in the book that's caused a lot of discussion regarding consent.
Yes. And it's really important we talk about that. The book has faced significant criticism over it, and rightly so. It's a point of ethical consideration.
It's a difficult scene.
It is. And the conversation around it is really a reflection of how standards and awareness, particularly regarding consent, have evolved, both in romance literature and, in society generally.
So how should we approach it here?
Well, our aim isn't to defend or condemn, but to acknowledge it's there, report that it's been heavily criticized, and frame it as part of a larger ongoing conversation.
Right. It's about encouraging critical thinking, isn't it? Thinking about how we read these moments, how interpretations change over time.
Exactly. It highlights how literature interacts with culture. We're here to report on the book and its reception, including the controversy, and let you, the listener, engage with that critically.
Okay. So wrapping things up then, overall, how effective is The Duke and I?
I'd say remarkably effective at what it sets out to do. It absolutely entertains, it gets you emotionally invested.
Definitely.
But it also manages to offer those smart critiques of social norms, especially around gender and family, without feeling preachy.
And that balancing act you mentioned, the historical setting with modern feeling, the humor with the emotional depth.
That balance is key, I think, to its enduring appeal. It explains why it resonated so much then and why it exploded again with the adaptation. It has that cross-century appeal.
So maybe a final thought for people to chew on.
Well, maybe consider this. What does it all mean for you? Perhaps it suggests that even stories designed purely for escapism, like romance novels,
Yeah.
maybe the ones that really stick with us, the most compelling ones, are those that actually dare to hold up a mirror, even a slightly funhouse one, to society.
Prompting us to think about our own ideas.
Exactly. About love, about independence, authenticity, how our understanding of those things keeps evolving, comparing then and now.
That's a great point to end on. This was really fascinating.
Agreed.
And remember, everyone, for more analysis like this, you can check out Mindful Moments on our YouTube channel and explore our other podcasts, too. If you enjoyed this discussion today, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, maybe share it with someone you think would like it. And if you're interested, you can find a link to purchase The Duke and I in our show notes.
And above all, keep thinking critically.
Absolutely. Keep questioning the stories you love and what they tell us about ourselves.